I believe, guys, we are back for the first time since our unfortunate issues with copyright strikes and stuff that you probably learned through John's social media posting. I'm glad that some of you were able to find us during that time, like Twitter Spaces or the podcast recordings that we did. But still, we are back. Backstreet's back. Guess who's back? Back again. I'm running out of musical references. So hello, Eddie, and I think along with John, you're
Yeah,
gonna be covering the Swiatek Gauff semifinal here.
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and I'm back as well, but I had a similar issue with my Instagram that I'm still having trouble with, but yeah, with the little clip that they seem to they don't like. I don't know, like yeah, Roland Garros seems to be particularly aggressive with this stuff. So yeah, but
Yes,
yeah,
it is. It is for sure.
yeah, and
So many
it's a
people
bit.
on Twitter are like afraid of posting any GIFs, videos. In fact, my only copyright strike on Twitter is also from Roland Garros. So, yes.
Right, right, yeah, yeah. Well, yeah, and they just don't seem to want to put up much highlights either. We don't see much in the way of highlights, certainly compared to the other slams. But yeah, I mean, well, looking at today's match, we've got, yeah, of course, Iga against Coco Gauff, and Iga. Other than the match against Osaka, which we watched together here, which was really good. But other than that, she's just breezed through, wouldn't you say? And so
Yeah.
it's creates a bit of a problem here for Coco because I mean she was doing pretty well until she faced Jabeur in the last match, but she dug deep to come back in that one. But this is obviously a completely different test and one that she's struggled greatly with. She's got one win right against Iga, right, but that was in the US on the hard court. So here, I mean, what do you say to Coco? How do you approach this one? I mean, she's going to have to, I think, come out and play a bit differently than she normally does. That's the thing, isn't it? She's got to be a bit more aggressive. And yeah, I'm not sure how. I mean, do you have any thoughts on how this is going to go? Do you think Coco can do something here? Because I mean, obviously, some of us we underestimated Osaka in that match, and she surprised us. But of course, Coco's a different player. She doesn't have the same kind of weapons. What do you think?
Yeah, I liked the Coco attitude generally in this matchup. I know she's 10 and 1 down, but it seems like she still believes. It seems like she still brings something new to the court anytime they play. Last year, around Garros, it was all these like loops and just trying to add more height on the ball, throwing it off. For a while, it was working, maybe like 6, 7 games. I don't know if this is going to be how she approaches it today.
Mm,
In Rome recently, we had her like really going after her forehand for the first 8 games, and it wasn't even the tactics that eventually started failing. It was just her at 4-all. Suddenly, the double faults issue comes back to back to get broken. The match is never really the same after that. So I mean, there is some encouragement I think to take from these recent clashes with Iga. And
yeah.
obviously, like even if she loses here, we've always said like when Coco was growing up that like her best chance at a slam would be Roland Garros, and I think that would
Mm,
still, even though she's won the U.S. Open, like that probably would still be true if Iga wasn't around, because 2022 Coco loses in the final to Iga. 2023 Coco loses well in the quarters to Iga, but still, would have been a dangerous contender later on if she remained in the tournament. Now she plays her in the semis. If she wins, she's going to be the favorite for the final. So it's like Iga is just ruining Coco's chances for to win Paris the last 3 years. And let's
yeah.
see if this actually happens again. Yeah.
So yeah, Coco got to the final before. What year was that now? That's
2022.
yeah, 22. Yeah, 2 years ago. So yeah, I mean, it's really hard not to back Iga at all. Now that I mean, she had her, let's say, her blip earlier. The difficult match. Usually, when players come through and they win slams, they might have one or two matches which are like a bit of a struggle, but she's overcome that and she's been very good since. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Yeah, I think Coco, we saw at least in that Osaka match that if you can push her a little bit, then even Swiatek can get nervous. So I mean, that might be something that can sort of play a role in this match. But yeah, it's going to take a very good performance from Coco, and yeah.
Thank you, Ghosty, for giving us a bit of money here to start us off again. It's been rough. I mean, not being able to post, not being able to be on the streams for like a week of Roland Garros. Obviously, one of the most like prolific in terms of the attention and the hype and the views. But yeah, I mean, it's still good that we're back. It still feels like nothing compared to the repercussions that we possibly could have faced, which was terminating the channel. Of course, we still cannot be too cocky. I think copyright strikes on YouTube, they disappear after 90 days. So we need to be on our best behavior, basically, for the next month and a half. For the next 3 months. I actually wonder if Twitter copyright strikes disappear. Maybe I don't have that one from FFT anymore. But anyway, who cares? John, I see, will be here soon. And Ghosty says it's easy for him not to back Iga. But I mean, are you doing this because you want her to lose? Or are you doing this because you actually think she'll lose? I will say one thing, though. Like, if it's, let's say, Iga wins the first 3 games, it won't be quite like the Vondroushova match, where at that point I was thinking, okay, so yeah, you can just turn it off. It's fine. Like, the match is done. Because if Vondroushova doesn't push her early, it's over. Potapova, I guess, she never really had a shot. But if this happens against Coco, I'm definitely not going to be there yet. I'm definitely still going to give Coco a chance to, make it close, make it competitive. I think if they play another 11 times, Coco definitely wins like 1 at least. So maybe it's today. Who knows?
Right. Yeah, this is also was something that was going through my mind. It's like, well, she's not just going to never win again. There's going to be some time that probably, right, that, maybe Iga has a below par day. So let's see.
And it's probably not even been clay that like their most lopsided matches happened on, right? Like most of their clay matches have been pretty okay. Rome this year, 8 games were great. Roland Garros last year, still I will say this was a pretty competitive match. Of course, Rome 2021, their first clay meeting. It's only really that slam final that was just a total blowout. And similarly to the men's final that year, no one was even watching that at some point because there was no point anymore. But yeah, that's only 1 out of 4. So it might not happen today. Hello, John. Founder is also back on the channel.
Yes, I've heard you obviously talking about the last 7 days, and also we need to be careful because we might be repeating what we were saying in quite a few different. Careful's the wrong word, but there is an issue where we're probably sort of giving some of the messages right now that we were giving in a Twitter space yesterday, but we're sharing it with people such as Ghosty, who of course it wasn't there. Damien, a big thanks for filling in that little gap. So I had at least a chance to get home, if not have a shower. But fortunately, you can't smell me, so that is okay. I've been on court, of course. Thank you for asking. And I actually had a horrible second set. We didn't finish a third, or we didn't even start a third because time got the best of us, but it was 1 set all. I am watching Coco Gauff serve, and she's under pressure already. And yeah, Damien, you can sail off if you want.
Yeah, that's my cue then. See you guys. I'll actually be back later for the 5 minutes post-match, whatever. So
perfect.
Yeah, you'll see me shortly anyway.
Could be 45 minutes, or it could be 2 hours. But the way the match has started, it might be closer to 45 minutes.
Yes, I just saw that one that try to take the ball out of the air on the forehand, and it goes well long. So yeah.
You're slightly ahead. You're slightly ahead.
Sorry. Okay.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So yeah, you're about 5 or 10 seconds ahead. I don't think I can get any faster. Let me just see. No, I think I'm at the maximum. Anyway, yes, that was a horrible swing volley. And as a result, we already have the break for Iga Swiatek, which is not the ideal start for Coco. I was saying exactly the same to Damien yesterday. I will share the score on the screen in a second, but I was saying the same to Damien yesterday. I said, it's not going to have the sort of Vondroushova beginning of the match feeling. Once Swiatek went one love up in that, 3 love up, I was like, well, this is just done. And I didn't care how the second set started. Whereas, even if Gauff is 5 love down in the first set, She has a good start at the second set, and you go, okay, well, we saw it with Mukova in the French Open final last year.
Yeah, I mean, Gauff as well. I mean, she's just come back from behind against Jabber. Yeah, she's got that, how do you say, bounce back ability in her, right? But yeah, it's just a difficult. I mean, it's hard in this matchup just to see if she's actually going to be able to get on top for an extended period of time.
Yeah, as we see Iga win the first point on her serve. Where do you stand on the sort of Coco in the landscape of women's tennis? Of course, she's officially the world number 2, but some people don't really put her in the same conversation as the top 3. Other people say that she's remarkably consistent, and the rankings tell us that. Where do you sort of lie on this?
I mean, well, I mean, the way it was going earlier, this, let's say, this, the beginning of the first half, let's say this season or first few months, yeah, it felt like obviously she wasn't in a great run of form, and I think that's probably helped people form that opinion. But I mean, let's remember she's still the reigning champion, right, in US Open, right? And yeah, in the world number 2, that's, we say the rankings don't lie, right? But I mean, how can you? But at the moment, for me though, it feels maybe it was a little bit unfair to sort of, because some people, I mean, including myself, were sort of putting, at least for this season, grouping Rybakina and Sabalenka up there with Swiatek at the top 3. But I mean, if we want to talk about consistency and level, I would say Swiatek's above the rest on her own at the moment, right? And I don't think that Coco is that far off the others either. So I think it's just because she's got maybe less, let's say, spectacular, aggressive game that some people think that, I think that's part of it. But I just, yeah, and if you talk about consistency and, she's obviously doing extremely well. So yeah, I don't know. And obviously I think, she's only 20. There's going to be more to come. So that's the way I see it at the moment.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. I think it's the ceiling. And I think it's in Arena's case, it's like, if the conditions are good, and they suit her, it's neck and neck between her and Iga, such as in Madrid or perhaps some quicker fast courts. Just sort of ignoring grass, I think, in a way, as an outlier, certainly for Coco and Iga. But yeah, and I think it's the ceiling, and I think that's what the thoughts are, in that we could have a Rybakina semi-final with Swiatek, or even a Sabalenka semi-final or final with Swiatek, and we're going, I think Iga wins 7 times out of 10. Whereas when it's Coco, it's like 9.5. So I think we are putting Iga in a way in an island on her own, and then comparing the other 2 to her. Now, that narrative could change in the next hour and a half, especially if she does more returns like that to get to 40-30. And that's the thing. I often think about this. People say, "Oh, you changed your mind." Well, yeah, you can change your mind because you're going to react in the moment. It's like saying, "I think, Pele's the greatest player of all time." Well, now you're not saying it anymore. Well, that's because someone has overtaken them. Or who's the best player in the world, Ronaldo or Messi? Well, probably in 2008 we would have said Ronaldo. A year later, we may well have been saying Messi, and so on and so forth. And you can always say, "Oh, but you said a year ago." Well, that's true. Yeah, I mean, in tennis with the surfaces, we can change very quickly. And if Gauff is getting to semi-finals and finals throughout the next 6 months, well, but she's probably got to win some. She's not won a tournament since January.
Yeah.
And that was 250. Lovely return there, by the way.
Yeah, that was great. I think we're almost, I tried to pause it for a second. I don't know if that's aligned us. Well, the thing is, though, but if you're going to talk about one matchup between Gauff and Swiatek, I mean, you can talk about that. That's obviously very lopsided, but that's also just one matchup. I think the problem is that, yeah, the power and the aggression that Sabalenka is able to bring in that is just a lot more effective. And we saw obviously recently as well, you know, how much trouble Osaka gave Swiatek.
Yeah, we've got a break point here just quickly for Coco. I'm not quite sure. Oh, I see Ghosty Uruguay. I just Googled Uruguay and news, and I saw a couple of things about Uruguay. One is that they advance a plant bleeding innovation with gene editing. So that makes no sense to me. It's about plants and science. But their second news story is about inflation. And the third one is about them beating Mexico 4-0. So I guess that's why he's very happy. I don't know why he's got a thing against Mexico. But there we go. But Coco has wasted that breakpoint opportunity, and we're back to juice.
Yeah, tense.
Indeed.
And potentially important moments here.
Yeah. Yeah, but at least it does sort of just quell the idea of Iga, because we didn't see many break points at the beginning of the match for Potapova or Vondrousova. So again, it sort of subscribes to the idea. That's a lovely deep moonball there from Coco. Maybe that's something that Rally's holder give herself a chance to get in the rallies. But then she puts the forehand long, and we've got another game point now for Iga Swiatek. Ashley here asking a question. No shade, but if you bought tickets at Roland Garros to watch Iga double bake someone, would you be annoyed? Honestly, because I understand that can happen, no. And I certainly wouldn't be annoyed at probably either player, because it could just be a fact that, you know, it's like if you bought a ticket and there's a withdrawal or a retirement, you know, would you be annoyed about that semi-final? We just if you understand how tennis and sport works, as Iga holds there for 1-1. That semi-final between Alcaraz and Djokovic a year ago tomorrow, it feels like, or 52 weeks ago, probably tomorrow. That just happens, right, Eddie? I mean, we understand. It's a real. We're just sad. We're not mad.
Yeah, I mean, even sometimes, you know, a lopsided score doesn't necessarily affect the match, but also, like, I mean, sometimes if a player is just exceptionally good, I mean, you can get some enjoyment from that. Seeing that, and you know, but
I think there's like the Nadal Djokovic final in Australia of 2019, and also the French Open final of 2020. I think you can, of course, if you're a fan of one player, then and that's the player that wins, you're especially happy. As I see Iga put a fairly easy forehand into the tram line, so 15 love here for Coco. But I think if you're a neutral, you're going, you know, if you hear people who understand tennis and they say, I think Djokovic's best performance ever on a hard court or ever in his life was maybe that 2019 final, then you can go, yeah, I was there for that one. And the Rafa one, it was a comfortable scoreline, but it was still extremely entertaining, I thought. And there was still a bit of danger until I think 5-all in the third set.
That was 2020, was it? Or
2020, yeah.
Yeah.
It was 5-all in the third set, and Rafa gets the break for 6-5 and then manages to serve it out. In fact, I think he serves it out with an ace. But yeah, lovely smash there, Coco.
I mean, I remember I went to see, because I was actually at the Australian Open 2020, and I saw Djokovic against Nishioka, and it was very one-sided, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, and yeah, it wasn't particularly enjoyable, but it was, I mean, yeah, in some way you still had some admiration, because it was just, you know, that was when Djokovic started to start serving really well, and he was just hitting his spots all the time. So it was just like, yeah, poor Nishioka had no chance really, but yeah.
I'm not suggesting Iga's going to lose this first set, because obviously she's in a very good position already, but I think she's been a bit loose in the last couple of games when she managed to just hold on there to hold her serve, and also here spraying a couple of balls into the tram lines that I think normally she would make. And I think as the match progresses, she'll be making them more often than not. But it's at some of the points actually reminding me a little bit of the first set. I think it was, did she drop the first set against Beatrice Haddad-Maia in Madrid, maybe? And I thought she was very loose in that first set, and too loose. Not loose as in like a good, relaxed way, but just like, just careless, if you like. But she wins the next point for 40-15. Yes, I remember the Parisian crowd booing Rafa, but did he beat maybe one or two French players? Maybe that annoyed them as well. Not sure.
Wait, when was that?
Rafa, early on in his career, I think
Oh.
there might have been a moment with an umpire or something as Iga puts a backhand long for 2-1. Yeah, there was certainly some friction between him and the Parisian crowd. I would say about 06, 07 maybe. And I think probably Federer was very much the darling by then. So, of course, he was getting a bit more support in those early finals. But probably by the time he's having some epic semifinals with Djokovic in 2013, then the crowd were very much warming to him. And then he just needs to say, listen, this is my favorite court. It's where, this is where I'm going to die, as he said recently in terms of effort. Then, he speaks a bit of French, but I know he sort of does a couple of lines in French and then move on to English.
So yeah, we got a hold from Gauff. That was nice for her to get on the board, and see if she can get into Swiatek's service game now.
I mean, there's I often talk about paths to victory on this channel, and I was talking to them about that with Steve Flink earlier in terms of the men's semi-finals. So do check out that video when you get a chance, people, and don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. There's sort of two possible paths to victory for Coco today, and they're kind of polar opposites. So you might think that's a bit strange, but one is to make it just mega scrappy. Throw in a few moon balls, just try and upset Iga's rhythm. And the other one is to go for it. I think she's probably better off going for it a bit more, as much as she can. I mean, not go wild, but as much as she can. But that was extremely wild, that return. Probably listening to my advice, which is probably not the best thing to do. But yeah, I think going for it a bit more. And that's what she did. And she hung with Iga for a set almost a year ago and a set more or less in Rome. Now, she didn't win either of those two sets, but I think she brought it. And even in Rome, maybe even until the last ball, if she gets the break back with Iga in I think it was just one break of serve, she was down in Rome. I could be wrong, but it didn't feel as though the gap was huge, even if it was like a straight sets win. That's a lovely backhand that she's taken early there. And
nice return.
Yeah, and if she is going to go big, it is probably taking that backhand as early as she possibly can. Yeah, Leylah Fernandez-esque.
She's got to take any of those opportunities. Little opportunity opening it up like that, she's got to take it.
Yeah. I think both players will be okay in terms of the nerve. Coco's got her slam. She's the underdog here. It's almost a free hit. Iga is, a multiple. I mean, that's not to say they won't get tight, maybe trying to serve it out. And we saw that in the final last year with Iga, I think, in the second set and beginning of the third set. It was only when she was behind the scoreboard in the third that it was Mukova who started to feel it. And we saw that again yesterday as well in terms of that scoreboard pressure with Paolini as well, I think, against Rybakina.
Yeah.
Are you back on Instagram, by the way? Because we've all been suffering some bans recently. It's ridiculous, right?
Okay, so I was back on, and I decided to upload another clip, and then it also got banned. So I've just, So the thing is, I don't think they're going to ban me. They're just like suspending me for a bit, and then I'll.
How many hours or days are the suspensions normally?
Well, for that it's three days, so it could be worse. But I mean, it's not like it's just unfortunate timing during. To do it.
I mean, I occasionally might go 3 days without posting. I'm much better than I used to be in terms of Instagram. We've got a break point here after another loose shot from Iga goes long on the backhand side. I'm just going to talk us through this point because I'm going to be a few seconds behind you. So we've got Iga coming up to the baseline now to serve. It's Gauff's second break point, I believe, of the match. She didn't take the first one. Iga took hers, and that's why we've got the differential on the scoreboard. But anyway, 30-40, Iga Swiatek, desperate for a first serve, of course, goes into the net on the first serve. Iga, of course, has been here many times. It's Coco's second French Open semi-final. So I think probably Iga's fourth, I would say, off the top of my head. I think she's won 3 titles here. Forehand return. I think Iga's not lost when she's reached this stage in the past, and it's the forehand from Coco that lets her down. not the first nor the last time we've said that. Yeah, so you're 3-day ban, yeah.
It's been a learning process.
Are they clips of like, you know, challenges and stuff?
No, it was literally actually a clip from Roland Garros, but it was just a clip of a bit of a match yeah.
Goodness me. I mean, I've seen a few of these on Twitter as well, where as a backhand goes long from Coco.
But I think
on Instagram, I'm okay if Eurosport are posting something and I retweet that or repost it, if you like, in a story, right? That's fine.
Yeah, this was just a video that like my friends sent me because she was there at the it was.
So she took it on her phone.
Yeah. It wasn't like
crazy. Yeah. I thought it may have come from like TV and then you
No. Yeah, so that's what made it crazier, and then
that is crazy.
I think it was the way it's labeled. So they think it's just like match clip or something from highlights. Oh,
I'm just watching cat and mouse thing, but Coco should win the point here, and she does. Back to deuce, cat and mouse there at the net. Iga was basically at the net, and that was the right thing to do. But once she didn't really do well with the first volley, she was on the back foot, if you like, and Coco wins the point for deuce. Oh, but that is crazy. If it's somebody in the stadium, and I'm presuming that the clip is less than a couple of minutes, maybe even less than a minute.
Yeah, it's like 1 point. So
1 point.
Yeah, we'll see how this point goes.
Yeah, block return there from Coco goes long, so it's a game point for Iga. Do the Grand Slams on 80 ball just go around striking people asking for a friend? I think there is a crazy point that we're at right now where, and I mean, really, on your mobile phone in the stadium, you know, you're posting on Instagram, so I'm presuming that there's little or no money involved there. And to be honest with you, by the way, once you're huge, once you've got 100,000 subscribers or 1 million subscribers or followers or whatever, you get dealt with in a very different way. It's
I'd imagine. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. You know, which is what, I mean, listen, I'm watching, what was I watching yesterday? I think I was watching something on Eurosport, and they showed a clip from a film, and they just, you know, credit the film. Oh, is that lob landed in? It has.
Yes.
Wow, back to deuce. Lovely lob there. Iga could have maybe got a racket. She wouldn't have got the smash. It would have been a case of just getting her racket on it and hoping that it's going to go back in play. But maybe even that was going to be too much. And then she just probably hoped it might sound long, but it didn't.
Right on the baseline. Like.
Yeah, right. So we're back to deuce. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. I mean, basically, if you're huge, do Eurosport contact, you know, Warner Brothers every time? I don't think they do. I think there's just a understanding of, you know, when the BBC show a little, I mean, I remember years ago they wouldn't, but now they do because everyone's living in a grown-up world. You know, you show a clip from Sky Sports with just a couple of goals on it, you know, and it's 2 hours after the match is finished as a wild forehand from Coco goes wide and long for a game point. I mean, we've got to have some maturity here about this.
Yeah, what I would say about just on that Instagram thing, I think that was to do with the way it was labeled. It was a point between Tsitsipas and Zhang, and I think it's something to do with the way it was labeled.
A few days ago.
They think it's something to do with like like a match highlight or something. But okay, because I didn't have it on the other. Because I uploaded other clips that she sent me from Roland Garros. So, like, I mean, from the Coco, Swiatek against Osaka, there was no problem.
Wow. She was at that match.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. She was going for Osaka, though. She was a little bit upset, but whatever.
I mean, here's another thing. I have seen a YouTube channel that has it seems like it has the rights to the French Open press conferences. And they seem to have rights for lots of press conferences where I've been told we're not allowed to film. Now, I don't know if they have a contract or not, or they probably do with the French Open, or something's going on, gentleman's agreement, who knows? It's all very murky. But that actually isn't my point. My point is they've used my videos. I've seen my videos appear on their channel. In fact, somebody highlighted to me a few days ago saying, by the way, have you seen, you know, this channel that's, they're well established. They've been going for years, although they're just breaking out into YouTube right now. They've got less subscribers than we have at the moment, although probably by the end of this tournament, they'll be above us. But And I was like, oh, they've used a short that Shrihari took in Dubai. Oh, hang on a second. They've used entire press conferences that we took in Dubai. Hang on a second. They've used entire press conferences for Santiago as well, and so on and so forth. And I guarantee you, if I raise this, and I almost won't, I don't even want to cause that, even if they're much bigger than me and their pockets are much deeper, I don't want to cause them grief. I think we can work together. If they just said, thanks to talking, if they'd written to me, for example, maybe put a hyperlink put a link in the description or something to our channel, and maybe a at Talking Tennis in the video, that would have been enough for me. But yeah, I haven't even raised it, and I might not even bother, but because I've got other things to work on, really.
That's kind of. I mean, I know that sometimes, like the shorts and certain videos, you can be set up to like allow remixing or like reposts and stuff like that. But if they've just taken like,
because it's shorts that caught me. It's shorts that got me caught out. On this. And it's honestly, and some of them are from 6 months ago. And I had, if I knew there was the tiniest bit of danger. I mean, of course, now I'm just being even more cautious. But honestly, one of them was 8 seconds. Okay, break point here. Coco Gauff serving down the tee to the backhand. And she's got a good backhand chance there, but she doesn't take it necessarily. And now she's going into the net. That's a lovely. There was sort of back-to-back backhands there with a nice low bounce on the or nice low bounce if you're a Coco fan on the Iga side. And the second one, a lovely flat backhand down the line that Iga just couldn't cope with.
She could do with a couple more of those now.
I mean, we're helping everyone. If somebody shares my video, as long as I've uploaded it first and I've uploaded it to my audience, if you write to me, probably I will share it with you. I can't think of a reason why I wouldn't. I can then grow a little bit and maybe you grow a bit more. Backhand into the net from Coco, and we're at 4-1.
So yes, not been a great set.
The thing is, what right now is, this is probably the kind of set that Coco might have to win, where it is a bit scrappy. I think Iga's level, despite the fact she's obviously a double breakup, has at times been there. She's had a couple of break points. You just got to win this set, really. You've got to be, you got to be on serve right now rather than a double breakdown anyway. I'm looking at the winners count here. Is that
Coco more
9-2 on the winners? Yeah, but look at those unforced errors. I mean, it does show that she's going forward a little bit, which is what I think she has got to do. Iga's just playing quite solid, actually, rather than spectacular, and with the 2 winners there, although and then not too many unforced errors, despite the fact that I was saying that she was a bit loose at times. Plenty of tennis to go. Yeah, I mean, this is. I know I talked about the Mukova final. Mukova just raised her level to a level like possibly she's never raised to before for about an hour from the beginning of the second set, when she was a breakdown, actually, because Iga was up a set and a break. Imagine that in a French Open final, and you come back to where you were. And I remember her tears at the end and feeling really bad for her, because Mukova, Jabeur, maybe even Jasmine Paolini, their chances are not going to be there forever as the young players get better and better and better. Forehand return there from Coco goes into the net, and that's a well that, of course, Swiatek can go to whenever she wants.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes, Paolini against Andreeva.
It's 50-50 in a way.
But it's also, good story as well. Obviously, both of them going for the first final, and Andreeva being so young. But
I didn't mention it. We had a Twitter Spaces at the end of the 2 semi-finals yesterday, and I didn't mention it at the time, but I was thinking about the you've got scar tissue, and the opposite is like positive memory or something, or something memory that is good for us, that we can recall and lean on. And I remember her having a really tight 3-setter with Andreeva having a really tight 3-setter with Vika Azarenka. And that was just a humdinger that both players just couldn't hold serve at the end, and it was just a battle of will that Andreeva was able to just get over the line. And bearing in mind, you know, she's 17 and she's already getting some of this good memory, if you like. And I forget what the expression is. It's something memory. That's really, really good for her experience. And that might help her again. I think it might have helped her yesterday, and it might help her again today.
Yeah, that was a really nice exchange, that last point, but it was Swiatek just coming out and being a bit more dominant there. Oh, and that's
backhand into the net from Coco. But that's it, isn't it? She's hit a couple of good returns. Probably there's been 3 or 4 like that are very makeable, but on the backhand side in particular, I guess, maybe even the forehand side, because actually, if your forehand is an issue, maybe you've got to go for it. There's no point just blocking the forehand and still making errors. You know, you might as well try and be a bit aggressive. Something like that, Ghosty. I think you all know what I mean, but it's the opposite of scar tissue. And I was actually, the phrase was in my head all day yesterday as I was watching Andreeva.
Memory positive.
Something like that. 5-1.
Yeah. Well, she's got a good tennis brain as well, I think.
Oh, extremely for her age, yeah.
Yeah.
How's a Tennis Asia TV going? Have you got sort of Asian domination?
It's going okay. I mean, yeah, just building it mostly just with the podcast recently. I'm just trying to. Oh.
I mean, I don't want to upset you here, but I have been watching some of your clips on Instagram, but obviously it won't be for the next couple of days.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we put those little ones up. Yeah, I mean those things, we just put them up. I did it on YouTube as well. It seems like the shorts and the reels get a lot of views.
Nice. I mean, I think if you've got good presentations, because I'm not very good at it, but when you've got when you've got the subtitles there, if you like, and you do the colors and stuff.
Yeah.
If you've got the half and half thing with your head there. I don't know how when it's me and you like this, and I want to do a quick short because there's a funny moment that happens. I can do it pretty quickly and easily on you just using the YouTube, button that just brings it into a short, and I have to move the camera, and then it's, well, me and you are above each other, it's okay. But if me and you are like this, it's kind of weird how to edit it. Is there a way of moving? Is there, if I've got this, can I move one head onto the
other? Yeah, so the way I do that is because the app that I use to record the podcast does it
okay.
It does it for me, so you can switch between that even after if you recorded it.
How do you get the subtitles?
That app just allows you to put the captions on, and then you can have different fonts and stuff. But and then sometimes it doesn't get that right, the words, and then I'll have to go in and edit it. But it's sometimes it's a bit dodgy, but most of the time it's fine. Yeah, so
I don't know if StreamYard lets me do that. I don't know. Anyway, Coco here at 40-15. She should win this point, and she does with that smash. So it is 2-5 or 5-2 because they'll have a little sit down and a change of end. In a slam, by the way, is it what is it, 90 seconds or is it 75 at the change of ends?
Oh,
I think it's for the men. It's maybe different because they play 5 sets. I thought there was a difference between the slams and the rest of the tour at the change of ends. Could be wrong.
They're drinking their electrolytes, whatever. I'm on the super dry.
Oh, I thought you were going to say McEwen's or something.
No, it's the Asahi.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah. So it's been a hot day.
I'm on the water. So Asahi is available in. Do you call it South Korea? Do you call it Korea Republic? Korea? What do you say?
Yeah, South Korea, but I mean you can just say Korea. I mean, it's Korea. So yeah.
And have you been to North Korea, by the way?
No, you.
I mean,
some people. Yeah, that's right. Not now.
Is it not possible again now? I just remember 10 years ago, some dude said he went there.
Yeah, I've met people, and I know people that have gone there, like a couple of people. I have been to the border. So I've been to this joint security area when you could go visit that. You get the tour.
Demarcation zone, no?
So I could, you could like see across into, like I could see a North Korean soldier just standing there.
My point is this: is that if you're okay with calling South Korea Korea, is it okay to call North Korea Korea? I don't really know. I mean, I just guess we just know when someone says they live in Korea, and I'm chatting to him in a bar in Berlin.
Yeah.
I'm not going, in Pyongyang or whatever the capital's called.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, because, I mean, the South Korea's official name is Republic of Korea, right? So it's not actually. We just say South Korea because there's a North and a South Korea, right? But
yeah.
But,
Korea Republic, yeah. Anyway, unforced errors of Gauff, which is this is actually quite un-Gauff-like to have so many in the first 7 games. But like I say, I think it's because she's sort of muscle memory. That I think is the expression I was looking for.
Yeah, muscle memory is, but she's got positive.
But scar tissue is obviously terrible, and you don't want to have those memories. And those can come back to you. If you've tried serving out a couple of times at a slam and it's failed both times, and then you do it for a third time, we worry about the scar tissue. If you've lost match points but gone on to win a match many times, that's good muscle memory, right? I think. Anyway, 15-all. Second serve here for Iga. Where are you going to go with this one? I'm going to say the forehand. No, to the backhand because it's down the middle. Backhand again for Coco. It's very easy, though, to change it up to the forehand there. For when she's got a ball like that, that's sort of not that deep and quite a nice height. You might say it's a little tricky, but it was really just set up nicely to go down the line. And therefore, as you go down the line, as long as you keep the ball in, you're probably then going to be in charge of the rally because you're on the Coco forehand. Oh, hi, Sean, by the way. And hi, Ghosty. Ghosty went off and now he's back again.
Yeah, there's a problem with Gauff. She doesn't really have... Oh, yeah, she just doesn't have a reliable forehand that will get her, that she can use aggressively. But
I mean, the thing is finding it. It's like we talk a little bit about Rogers' backhand, especially Philippe Chatrier, but we talked about Tsitsipas's and especially Berrettini's, I would argue, even more of an issue. But it's about finding it, and very few people can find Berrettini's backhand on grass for fairly obvious reasons, just the speed of the surface, and once he's got that first serve in, he's in charge of the point. Tsitsipas on the clay can run around it quite a bit. Roger, again, just because of his talents, was only ever in trouble against the lefty Rafa. But when you've got it here, she dumps a forehand into the net that just lacked all belief, I think, after seeing yourself 5-2 down 40-15. And not the most inspiring set in terms of tennis. And Iga wins at 6-2, as I think we're going to have a little break here because Coco's going to go off court, and that makes sense to sort of just regather her thoughts. At least she's lasted, and by the time she returns to court, she still would have outlasted Potapova in terms of minutes.
Yeah, it's just I think you're right. In theory, I think she does need to be, because I mean, that's what I think works against Iga. If you can be really aggressive and it's not like she doesn't have it in her, but it's just like, it's not something that she
Iga's
can...
defense is pretty good. I think she sprayed balls too much today, but the tactic is okay. It's also another way for Coco to keep it away from her, because if we're in a neutral rally, or we're in a rally which I just saw there, for example, when Iga was, got a ball that was just lovely to her because also you're changing direction. Okay, you're going over the higher part of the net, but once you get it over the net and the ball lands in, you don't even need to go close to the line to suddenly find yourself either with an error coming off the racket of Coco, or you're up in the rally. So it's a win-win almost. Whereas if she can execute a slightly better, if you can execute the slam slightly better, then Coco's in charge. And maybe three of those, suddenly those bad returns, for example, and she wins those points, and maybe we're only a breakdown, maybe we're on serve here, and we've got a different match. That is tennis, I know. What if smuts and maybes, and the fact that Coco has to take more risk does mean she's in danger of spraying balls, etc.
Yeah,
She's got to make that return. I'm just watching a replay of that forehand return. She's got to make that at the very least, though, because that second serve from Iga is as good as Iga is. It's not something that even troubles most players in the top 20. It's not like a Novak second serve, which when he's firing, like he can do in Turin, for example, his second serve it's like another first serve.
Let's see if she's
just
giving
look
a good
Ghosty.
Oh, is it honestly?
Listen, this whole night debate, and I get it. And we should probably have a women's match, but the problem is that women are only playing best of 3. So if it was best of 5, it would be impossible not to have, for example, Coco, Iga against Naomi. That would have been a perfect one. But the problem is you might have Iga against Potapov, and you've got 40 minutes, and you've got people who spent 200, 300, 400 euros, and they're just going crazy. They're tearing. If we thought that they would like a bit rowdy before, they'd be tearing the house down if that happened. So what do? Do you put 2 women's matches on there? Well, then we're back into that zone of 3 a.m. finishes, because if you have 2 3-setters that both go 3 or 4 hours, so it's a dilemma. The way around it would be women play 5 sets, but there's a lot of reluctance, at least in press conferences, when they're asked the question about doing that, and that's fine. There are other alternatives, of course, which is to put 2 matches on, but have the first one. It would have to be at 6, I guess. 7 o'clock. You're running the risk of that women's match going 3.5 hours, and suddenly you're starting at 10:30. Of course, there is another alternative. Have 2 matches, and just have a curfew, probably at 1 o'clock, I guess. I would even be tempted to find out whenever the last metro is and get it in sync with that, if you like, as Coco does a lovely shot there for 30-15. I've left Philippe Chatrier and found myself missing the last metro, and I'm a bit annoyed. And I'm not talking about 3 a.m., I'm talking about 1 o'clock or something like that. I would be tempted to try and get a deal done with the metro system to ask them to go to 1:30 during the French Open as a thing, and because it's not asking them to go 24 hours, it's just like going an extra couple of hours at the weekend, and yeah, play to 1 o'clock, and then you finish. If you haven't, for example, started the 5th set by 12:30. If it is a 5th set, for example, or then you come back. It's just, I mean, Wimbledon is extremely strict with its 11 o'clock thing. I think probably they would play match point, but if it's deuce, they would probably finish it, right? They're not going to play another 2 points at deuce. They would actually come back the next day. Now, people will complain about that, but that's the sport. Either that or we change the rules and we have a clock. And just say whoever's winning after 2 hours wins the match. Well, then you'd find loads of people just doing the Novak Rafa, bouncing the ball, wasting time. Once you go, I've had that before where we're playing with a clock, for example. We're just playing doubles in a tournament, and basically there's a bell that rings after half an hour. And I'm thinking we've done well and we've eked out a 3-1 advantage or something. I'm thinking about, let's take our time at the changeovers because we're not the favourites here. Maybe I remember playing with a double fault there from Coco, and we're at deuce 40-15. I actually, a lot of people praise the curfew. By the way, they are British people generally. I'm not a huge fan of it, but I'm just thinking I don't want to have a 3 a.m. finish either.
But isn't that's because of the residents roundabout, isn't it?
It's a resident thing. It's a local law thing. It's nothing to do with tennis, etc. And I'm okay with. I think 1 o'clock is reasonable, and I think if the weather causes disruptions like it has done, you bring it at 10. Oh, Ghost is a lot of people that, I mean, the tennis podcasts were just frothing at the mouth. Salivating, over the curfew that the Wimbledon have. And and just going, oh, we've got a curfew. We've got a curfew. Is it a place called Wimbledon? But the relationship that the podcast has with Wimbledon is, let's say it's very friendly anyway.
But then they had but then you wouldn't get what was it, Andy Murray against Kokonakis till 5 in the morning. I mean, that was pretty fun, wasn't it?
What time in the? Oh yeah, in Australia. Yeah,
the one at the Australian Open.
It was surreal for Mario, me, and Damien, who were actually here at Talking Tennis Towers, and it's like 6 p.m.
You watched it through?
We were doing watch-alongs from like 1 a.m. We would go live, and the clock was reading like 17 hours, I think, at the end of that stream. Because we had little shifts and stuff. I remember going to bed for a couple of hours, and we had various people dropping in. We had the North Americans dropping in until sort of 3 or 4 in the morning, and then we'd have Scott maybe, Jack maybe joining at 9, 10 in the morning, as it was in Glasgow at the time. And I'm talking about the whole 17 hours. I'm not talking about Murray's match, but then of course Murray starts I don't know, whatever time it was. I guess it was about midday, 1 o'clock here. And as Coco gets a hold, because Swiatek decides to imitate the Coco Gauff forehand and dumps one into the net, and we've got 1-love.
Well, now she serves first, so maybe let's see if she can create a bit of pressure, if she can get an early break. I remember that match. I stayed up. It was because obviously similar time zone here to Australia, but I ended up staying watching it all because we finished at 5, so I guess it must have been about 3 o'clock here. Yeah, and then but that was quite ridiculous, really. But
only 2 hours time difference between you and Melbourne?
Yeah, 2 hours.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, they're east. Yeah, we're east, so
yeah. I just thought maybe it might be a bit more. But
yeah.
Do you change your clocks in Seoul?
No clock changing.
So it does change from 2 to 3 hours, does it then at one point?
That might be it, because I think the Australians, they do change it, don't they? So, but I just remember it as being 2 during the Australian Open.
Okay, so maybe it's 3 right now. Maybe it's 3.
Yeah, it could be it.
I think UK and Australia. I lived in Australia for a little while, and I think they changed the clocks at the same time. Certainly the October one, and it changes from 9 to 11 hours. That time difference. So in the Australian summer and British winter, it's an 11-hour time difference. But right now, it'll be 9 hours to Melbourne. Oh, an eager backhand goes into the tram line. She's just checking the mark there from the Coco shot down the line. We're at love 15. Coco's going to have to learn very quickly how to hold serve as well, though, because she's not really held serve very well in this match so far.
Just get this done first, then we can worry about that.
Yeah. Okay, we're on the forehand now. Is that landed in from Igor? It has given a punch there.
Thought that might just go long, but that was just pretty much perfect there.
Yeah, I thought it might have been long as well, but 15-all. I've seen quite a few people very critical of the level and the interest of the de Minaur Zverev match. I think I found it quite intriguing. And yes, de Minaur has a particular style of tennis that might not appeal. Zverev has a particular style of character that might not appeal. But I don't know. There was a level of intrigue that was still there almost up until the last point.
Oh, another forehand error there from Gauff.
Oh dear. And because that wasn't too bad, that opportunity in terms of the forehand, and she just gets a good depth on it, and that's what she was going for. Forehand unforced errors, 13. Yeah, no, I wasn't so down on it. A lot of people were down on Zverev's level as well. Not whether you're a fan of his or not. I think there's a lot of people just saying that the level from both players wasn't that high. I don't know.
de Minaur has had a lot of critics for a while since he's been around for a long time up when he first got to the top 20. And I think he's done, even now people are still giving him stick for it, but I think he's done well with what he's got. I mean, he's to get up where he is now, 8th in the world, whatever it is, yeah. And
I mean, he's getting absolutely every last drop, isn't
he? Exactly. And I think he's proven some people wrong in that respect. But and who's to say that he can't do something more? We've got Wimbledon coming up. Grass is probably great for him, right? So
yeah. I mean, that match happens on grass, and maybe he's in the semi-finals, you know. I think we're looking at something probably a little bit better than the Cam Norrie. Oh, that drop shot from Coco wasn't the worst idea in the world, but the execution was just way off, or was off anyway. She looks towards her team and looks fairly disgruntled because at love 15 and some of the chances where she was in good, that's the thing, she's getting in okay positions in some of these rallies, but the execution is just not happening right now. Demon serve needs attention, yeah, but I don't really know where you go with it. I think Zverev, by the way, and I said this to Steve Flink earlier, I said I think his serving here hasn't, and I know it's a different surface. We're not going to be looking at the kind of serving stacks he gets in Australia, for example, but his serve has been dealt with, particularly by players that are standing pretty far back on the first serve, like Rafa and De Minaur. I saw Rafa fine, you know, with that first serve. Okay, Rafa didn't win the match, but he was getting in the rallies. He was getting chances. He was going breaks up. He was breaking Zverev's serve as much as you're going to on this surface. That drop shot is not going to work either from Coco, so it's 15-all. And then there's the second serve, which De Minaur was so comfortable with and so confident on where it's going to land. Because I was thinking even a Rafa second serve, and Rafa's serve is arguably the weakest part of his game. You know, there's some direction with the second serve. It's either going to the forehand or it's going to the backhand. Now, it might not have quite enough power to avoid the runaround scenario, or it might lack the precision that he would like, but there's a purpose. There is no purpose with the Zverev second serve other than to get it into the court, hopefully with a bit of depth. That's what he's going for. He's going for he's not going to the forehand. He's not going for the backhand. And De Minaur just knew this. So he's just basically standing another meter to the left in the ad court where Iga is standing right now, or in the deuce court to the left towards the center, because he's just waiting for a very easy forehand return. 30-all. That's not me here saying, by the way, that he's going to beat Casper Ruud, but I think Casper Ruud can maybe do even more on the return than what De Minaur did, especially on the forehand. Especially if his first serve stats are not as high. I don't know. I should have checked them, but it doesn't seem like his stats are as high as they were at times in Australia. I mean, I remember that match against Alcaraz, and I felt Alcaraz, could have done a bit better, but you're playing a guy who's getting 80-90% first serves in. What can you do? Which is what happened against that match.
But that final though in Rome was insane from Zverev. That was a 80% first serve and 95% first serves won. That was on clay as well.
That's what he's capable of, but I haven't seen it in Paris.
He'll do it in the final.
maybe Jarry on return is a different prospect to Rafa and to Casper Ruud as well.
Okay, that was a good hold.
Yeah, it was. From 1-2, the errors that came off the racket again there. Nice hold here. So bit of scoreboard pressure in terms of where Iga's at, having served second.
I mean, I just think Zverev's going to win, Ghosty, but Casper... Yeah,
have you seen his comment before
that? Oh, good God.
Talking of which, Dan Evans, we spoke to Dan Evans earlier on today. He's Jerome. Well, actually, it wasn't today. I think it was a day or two ago. But from the Challenger in Surbiton, we've got Jerome there, who's bringing us content with João Fonseca and Lloyd Harris, friend of the show, of course, and many others.
Enjoying some of that Surbiton content.
Yeah, it's going up now on YouTube as well. So.
I tell you what, João Fonseca doesn't seem like a 17-year-old. No,
very mature, good level of English. I've spoken to him as well myself in Estoril. In fact, I've seen him play a few times, of course, in Estoril and also in Rio earlier on in the year. And got a nice win on the grass against Carl Edmund.
Yeah. Let's see if he can.
Says Wimbledon's his favourite slam. Says Wimbledon. He's working on his serve.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, he's He's talented. Okay, he's playing Nakashima soon. Yeah, Nakashima's not.
Is that
too
his next
bad.
match in Surbiton?
Yeah, that's on very soon. So
That's a good match. That's a second or third round at a slam, no?
yeah, it's decent. And
What happened to Fonseca in French Open qualifying, by the way? Don't even went under the radar for me, that one.
Yeah, he didn't.
Did he not make the cut for qualifying?
I think he did, but he just didn't get through, did he? Yeah, he didn't.
Must have lost it.
No, maybe he didn't. I guess he didn't make the cut. I forget that he's what's
just
his ranking.
He's borderline. He's about 200 and something.
Yeah. So he would have like a few weeks or a couple months, whatever it was.
I mean, he was getting wins in Bucharest, and the problem is he started from a long way back. I think 700 in the world at the beginning of the year. So even some wins in Rio and Bucharest. Now, what's going on here? They called that one in. Coco thinks it landed out. I thought it might have even landed out. And there's a debate going on with the umpire, and I sort of understand why. I don't know why she's not checking the mark.
Wow.
Has she got a challenge earlier? Is that what the issue is, or what? They're booing because you're wrong, she said to the umpire. But
I'm not sure how she can make that judgment. But
no, but that's by the by. What? I'm still trying to get my head around it. So if it lands out, whatever Coco does with the return doesn't matter, right?
Ooh,
what
spicy.
I didn't hear what did she.
She said Grand Slam semi-final. Know the rules of the game. Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, if it lands out, it lands out, right? I mean, she's got a point. I don't quite understand it. I know she hits the return wide, but it's. Oh, she's crying, maybe.
Oh wow.
Oh my. Come on, Coco. Let's do this. Let's get the break. Now she's getting some nice applause. But listen, if it's landed out, it's out, right? It's not like a rally where she's got a challenge, because it's. I don't know. Am I missing something? Tell me. She's got 15-30, by the way.
Okay. Well,
listen. If it's a rally, it's different. But if it's a serve, and the person serves and the serve goes out, you can do whatever. And that they've not, if the umpire's made an error or the line judges made an error, then it's out. Yeah.
That backhand long that's a bit too cheap, that one.
She could probably do with a change of ends as well at the end of this game. Unfortunately, she's going to have to play again, whatever happens. But again, unforced errors. She's leaking them a lot more than Iga is.
Well.
So we've got a break point. I think she's going to get a few more cheers.
There was that one against Zhang Qinwen. The umpire picked the wrong ball mark.
Yeah, I heard about that one. Yeah, I mean that's just an outright error, and that's that. But I don't know what the debate is here. I'm confused as to why that wasn't just called out. I think it would have been a double fault as well. Iga's in charge of this rally, and she puts that dry forehand away, and she punches the air like her opponent is tearful, and she's going, yes! Good to see a few bald people in the crowd.
Is this stream not on Instagram? Just on YouTube, is it?
Oh, I forgot to put it on Instagram. I'll do it now.
Okay.
I forget, because the Instagram thing is a little bit more complicated. You can't you can't just post to Instagram like I can with all the other ones and just click live. With Instagram, I have to get what they call a key, a stream key, which I can do now. But we're gonna go on Instagram. Yeah, I'm gonna put it on Instagram now. Why?
My friend just asked me. He's like, "Is it not on Instagram?"
Sorry, I'm gonna put it on Instagram now. Tell him or her. Good play from Eager.
Him. That's Alistair. Yeah.
All right, Alistair. It's going on Instagram now, and thank you for asking about it because I had forgotten. It's not my primary concern, if you like, but it is, if we get another follower as a result, or we just keep people happy, it's good enough for me. There we go. Now we're going to be on Instagram in about 15 seconds. Eager goes long. So we're back at Juice. There we go. We're on Instagram.
Now, if she breaks here, that would be pretty interesting.
As we head towards 6 minutes of this game.
Out.
Yeah.
Again.
I thought it was long. Break point, Coco. Yep, Ashley, your support on those platforms was much appreciated as we were struggling to get our head above water, but we were going on everything apart from YouTube basically the last few days. And thank you, by the way, for Ghosty to give us that donation you did earlier. Okay, so break point here. Down the tee, forehand return from Coco. Backhand now for Eager. Good depth there from Eager. Forehand now to the backhand. Now she's going to change it up to the forehand. Of course she is to Coco. Now she changes it up because there's a bit of a gap down that backhand side. Is that landed in? It has, but good defense there from Eager. Has that landed in? It has. And I think Coco's got the break.
That was a great point. That was just right on the edge of the court. She was getting those balls, and that was well played.
Yeah.
Got game on here. Let's see if she can hold on like you were worried about.
Great Uncle Brad is happy with that one. I had Boris Becker in on my commentary yesterday. He's there again today for the Demon Nor Zverev match. And he's got a sort of funny little giggle that makes me laugh. It's like a naughty giggle he's got. And it's so funny. The insight isn't really there, but his giggle is amusing. Awesome depth. I agree, Ashley.
Yeah, that was.
But now, as I say, she's got to hold. She holds, she gets to 4-1, and we're in a good position. But there's great depth there from Eager. Now she's in charge of this rally on the forehand of Coco. Coco could just keeping the ball in on the forehand at the moment, and then the backhand goes into the net as she ran out of steam.
Yeah, an angry Swiatek is a dangerous one. So she could do some good serves here.
I've seen her sort of, maybe not so much this year, but in last year, cutting a frustrated figure and it just sort of unraveling for Eager. I'm thinking more at the beginning of last year, like United Cup, Australian Open. Anyway, love 15. Serve into the net. Second serve here. The other issue, of course, for Coco that just comes back from time to time is the double fault. She won't want that to come back here. Let's see if it does. Here we go. She did ghost the air, but it was after the match, wasn't it, against Pegula? And it lands in. It's decent for a second serve. Good depth there from Coco. Drop shot Coco lands in. It's not enough to win the point outright, and that's not going to help either. That's not going to help, and that's going to go long. She got away with it, Coco, in that the drop shot was okay, but the next shot wasn't good enough, but Eager gave her a chance. So the drop shot was okay. Okay, Eager chases it down. But here, I guess her court position is what we'd have to look at there. I understand her temptation to sort of come in a little bit but she's either got to go back another 50 centimeters or forward another meter. That where she was gave her that really weird type of volley that none of us want to have between the service line and the baseline. Great return from Iga, but it lands in there from Coco. She's in the rally, but that backhand is a winner.
Yeah,
Lovely. That reminded me a little bit of that winner that I think Sabalenka produced on match point yesterday.
very nice. She's made a lot of those today. Yeah.
Two intriguing quarterfinals as well. Very interesting quarterfinals on the women's side yesterday. Back to 30 all. Good serve there from Coco. What filled me with a bit of fear, though, after those, some of these matches I've been watching that have been really interesting. I mean, Jabeur Gauff, I thought was really interesting, intriguing, mental, physical, talent, ball striking, errors, whatever. It was all there. And several women's matches. Danilovic as well, exciting. The problem is no one has brought a level that would normally trouble Iga, especially when she's producing forehand returns like that. So when I'm watching those matches, I've got Iga at the back of my mind, and I'm thinking this is exciting, but this is exciting not because we're seeing a Madrid level final from these two players that I'm watching right now. This is exciting because neither have got the power or the nous or the ability or the nerve to put each other away. And we've got exciting matches going on, but I'm just watching it always through the paradigm of thinking, yeah, but this is not good news for the final, the semi-final, whatever might come. Backhand return here from Iga, backhand from Coco. This into the rally, but nice now forehand from, but that forehand clips the net and goes wide from Coco, and we've got the break back, 3-2. Still got that scoreboard advantage, but the break has gone. And go on,
yeah,
Eddie.
like you said, she hasn't been quite there on serve today, and yeah, especially the second serve.
Listen, Coco, you need to listen to you need to listen to Talking Tennis right now, and remember this conversation that you and I had a year ago. You've been to the French Open final. Your breakthrough, at least standout result at the beginning of your career, was on grass against Venus. You've been very solid on the hard courts. Is there a slam in particular that you go, I think that's, if I'm going to get one, the first one might come here, there, or where?
Well, I don't know. I mean, everyone, I'm like, I think this is the first one. So I don't know. I mean, obviously now going to the French, I do have a lot of confidence on the surface. But I'm not really thinking about that. I feel like, in the past I was, and it gave me some like defeats that I feel like I shouldn't have lost, maybe more so my head. So going in now, I mean, I feel like, everyone could be the one, but I think I have to just take it a match at a time and just feel it out and enjoy it. I think when you focus too much on the destination, you don't enjoy the journey there. So now I want to focus more on the journey, and if the destination gets there, that's great.
Focus on that journey, Coco. That was a year ago. I actually mentioned it to her in Stuttgart. If I'd had a moment, if you like, where it would have been appropriate, I'd have got the phone out and I'd have played that to her. But it was mentioned because she even said to me, I think I said something that referenced it, or there was something, and she's like, oh, did I say that? This is during a press conference though, where I can't just stop the press conference, of course. But if I one day, hopefully I'll get a chance with Coco and I'll play that to her, because of course that's pre-French Open last year, when she was in a pretty rough spell of form, and at that Madrid Open last year, she when that interview took place, she had a pretty grueling loss to Paula Badosa, who just, I was going to say bullied the forehand. She didn't even bully it. She just went, there you go, hit a forehand. There you go, hit a forehand. And she did it for an hour and a quarter, and that was enough to have a very comfortable straight sets win. The second set might even have been a bagel. I can't remember, but it was, even when Coco was in position on the backhand, it was uncomfortable viewing, put it that way. And so, but that was before a Grand Slam had been achieved. She goes on to get the quarterfinals at the French. She goes out in the first round at Wimbledon, but then we all know what happened between Wimbledon and the rest of the year.
Oh, Third attempt at the serve now for Swiatek.
Listen, the more we speak to these players, the more we will take the credit for any glory that they have. You know, if Lloyd Harris wins a couple of matches, we're going, well, it's because he's a friend of the show. Oh, Jasmine Paolini, just think about talking tennis when you're at the changeover. And, you know, Daniel Collins, I remember speaking to her in the Billie Jean King Cup last year. And I asked Daniel Collins a question. And she said, well, how would you, like, in a good way, you know, I was like, you know, how does it feel when you match point down? She just sort of turned the question on me. She said, well, how would you feel? I said, well, I'd be nervous as hell. But it was kind of funny because Daniel Collins was asking me, and I'm thinking, my level's not quite at your level, Danielle. I'm playing at a club in Bonn, you know, for an over 40s trophy that's about that big and doesn't really mean anything. And you're playing for slightly higher stakes. And all of this, but it was just funny how she sort of said, "Well, what do you think? What do you reckon?" And you know, it wasn't like in a sarcastic. It's like I was like, "Oh, I liked it though." Anyway, we will obviously claim credit wherever we can because who knows how much longer we're going to be here. Hey, Nerlan, Ghosty, of course. Nerlan, I think they have a funny relationship, as in a good one. So I'm sure Ghosty will be pleased to get in touch with you again. Swiatek here, 2 game points, 40-15. Hey, Janie. It's been a long time, or at least on YouTube anyway. See, Ghosty appreciates Nerland's humor for sure. Okay, second serve. Decent return from Coco. Too much height probably on that backhand.
Oh, that was a great
winning down the line there.
pass.
40-30. Yeah, lovely.
Lovely pass. Smart.
Ashley, you know, I would love to play a bunch of professional tennis players, both women's and men's tour, and play a super tiebreak. Because I think taking their time for a set would be too much. But a super tiebreak, I think, first to 10. And
Are you serious?
Yeah, I'd love to do that. Which professional would I get the first point off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you seen? Have you seen the? Do you know the guy? What's his name? Josh Berry. He's quite a good tennis player.
Yeah, he looks like he's okay.
Yeah, he does videos like that. He's got videos of him against other. He played Jamie Murray recently, and he does the super tiebreak with. It's quite good videos if you find the content. Josh Berry against various.
I can't believe he's stolen my idea.
ATP
I've had that idea for a while.
Oh, they're really popular. I mean, also he's a comedian as well, so he's got a little bit of a.
I'm a comedian too, Eddie. I've done stand-up. 27 people came to see me in Cologne. I can't believe he's stolen my idea. I'm serious. I've had this idea for a couple of years where I play a super tiebreak with various random people. Liam Brody's one I've always had in my mind because he's someone I've come across a couple of times. Well, come across him once anyway. And just anyone on the tour, just get him to play a super tiebreak. They win 10-0, they've won basically. But that's the point. I just have to win one. And who's the first professional on the tour where I win a point? And they have that bag of shame for the rest of their career.
Oh no!
It's a free hit for me. Double fault, love 30.
I played tennis recently for the first time in a good while, and it was first actual match. It was horrible. My surfing was.
I know
terrible.
You had a hit recently. You actually had a match as well, did you?
Yeah, I had a match on Tuesday morning. It was shocking, but my actual play was okay, ground strokes and that, but just the serve. I guess. I mean, if you haven't served for a long time, then it gets pretty difficult for me. But
we are at love.
Yeah, this is it here. Love 40.
This feels like sort of match-ish.
Yeah, you got to feel. And that's the break. And surely this is Swiatek's match to lose. It was just 2 games away from the match.
Yeah.
John said, "What you actually? You actually did stand up." Okay.
Yeah. In Spanish, I've done it in Spanish as well.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. We did a stream recently in Spanish. Nadal against.
Oh yeah, I saw. I mean,
Blanc.
because I was doing the English one at the same time.
Yeah, with Kira maybe.
Yeah. That was
I mean,
against.
It was an hour, so that helped. 31 unforced errors there.
Did you know that you're in that? You must know that you're in that documentary.
Which one?
Breakpoint.
Oh yeah. Did you see me by chance, or did you know I was going to be there?
I didn't know, no, because I just
was
watching, and I was like, that was because it's a Kyrgios episode.
Kyrgios press conference, yeah. And you're like, because I didn't know that the series or the episode had been out for a few days, maybe in a few weeks, and Vanch took a screen video of it, if you like, and sent it to me, saying, "Hey, you're in this." I was like, "Oh, okay, cool." Yeah.
It was the one where he's getting quite annoyed about.
Yeah, and that was shaped, and let's say this, it was shaped incorrectly to give a very favorable view of Nick and a very negative one of me, but also the media for asking him questions. Okay. Basically, I mean, he's basically shouting abuse, people left, right, and center, and I say, and he's saying that he doesn't like getting abuse on social media. Fair enough, but 2 wrongs don't make a right, is what I was saying. And he said, yeah, but they don't earn millions of dollars. And I'm like, I'm sure they'd love to. Because he gets obviously abuse on social media, completely wrong. But doesn't mean he can just be abusive to.
That was a good backhand.
Yeah, well, we're going to go on
well
here.
Defended.
We're going to smash for Coco.
Oh,
but it's
that
not
was
easy, but she does really well.
Excellently. Because how many players throughout tennis would we see mess those up? But that was well done. I was actually playing on clay as well the other day. The high, but
clay.
Yeah, I played on clay, and it was just so angry. Like sometimes, like it was hitting the high loopy ball, and it just bounced over my head. That's how much it was bouncing.
Okay, second serve here for Coco. She's keen for it to go to the backhand, but it doesn't go that way. Decent return, but she's going to have to run to that forehand. That's a decent forehand from Coco. How often do we say that? Second decent forehand from her. On the backhand side, she's going to come into the net. She does tentatively. She was tentative there at that net approach, and I think it may have cost her. She comes in another few more centimeters. Again, a bit of court position there. It's easier. I know it's easy after the event. But I think she should have just been a bit more aggressive there at that net approach. A bit more conviction, and I think she might well have won that point. Nevertheless, 15-all. Iga did well there. Forehand exchange there, and of course, a forehand exchange is going to end one way. Coco Gauff, unforced error, 30-15.
Ghosty, I've just seen your comment there. Yeah, clay's not my favorite surface either, and especially when it's the kind of clay court that I was playing on, but which is not a well-maintained clay court. This is
backhand return here, Coco. Forehand to forehand right now. Goes down the line. Coco comes into the net.
Oh my God.
Horrible.
There really was. I mean, that was a chance. That was there for it.
I think she could have done a forehand volley on that one, you know? And that's not me going down the whole Coco forehand narrative there. I just...
I mean, even on the backhand, she could have got that, but I don't know.
She could do this, the sort of classic backhand volley, and just sort of slice volley it, and Iga's going to have to chase it down somehow. I'd like to see it again, really, because otherwise it's just a forehand smash.
Oh, there's always one. I'll go through.
So 5-3 or 3-5 because Coco's serving here. Yeah, Ashley, she was suffering with illness. In fact, she didn't do a press conference because she was still sick. But it was pretty clear that, I mean, listen, Mira Andreeva did what Mira Andreeva can do, and she's going to make it pretty horrible for someone who is struggling like Arena was. But given it was just 1 or 2 points in the match, you would think that a fully fit, healthy Arena probably does prevail in that one. Anyway, we're into a rally here. Backhand Coco. She's quite close to that baseline. Maybe that's the right decision as she sort of takes initiative in that rally and gets the first point.
Yeah, Sabo was had a stomach upset.
Yeah. And it was the match was so close that, it just, she wins 2 points and she probably wins the match. And you could see it. You could see a couple of balls that she didn't chase down. A couple of times there was a few unforced errors when she was in charge of the rally that, and you could just see her struggle afterwards. And she was really annoyed as well. It was just like, oh, why is this happening right now? Why couldn't it have happened during Rome or even Madrid, or as much as that final was epic and close? Any other time of the year apart from now, Australia, and she's in a Grand Slam semi-final. I know that defeat to Mukova, understandably, still bothers her to this day. She gave a legendary quote at a press conference recently as well in Stuttgart about, I'm not letting this effing happen again, and everyone laughed. As in, like, what would you do next time? And she said, just make sure it effing doesn't happen again. Or I'm not going to F up, or I don't know, it was something like that. She said it was very funny.
Oh, another
lovely return there. Yeah.
God, there must have been about, I don't know how many of them. Several.
There's been a few, yeah. Mukova is probably Mukova, I think, could be one of the most fun people to go out for a beer with on the tour. I'd be keen for that.
You should do your top 10. You've interviewed enough of them top 10.
Lloyd Harris would be good. Problem with Lloyd is I think he'd get too much attention from the ladies.
Yeah,
that would annoy me on 2 levels. that would annoy me on the level of why is he getting all the attention I'm getting? Zero, the obvious level. But there is a secondary level. Like I'd maybe want to have a beer with Lloyd Harris, and he's just paying no attention to me. So I'm just basically losing out on every single level.
Yeah, Lloyd Harris did seem quite fun, didn't he? He did.
Yeah.
I quite liked his interviews there. You did.
I read between the lines. I think he wants to go out for a beer with me. That's what I read that. I read that. Lloyd, you're gonna have to wait. I'm busy. And Carolina, you got to get yourself fit again. Focus on that, and then we'll go out for a drink. In the meantime, Coco Gauff has got a game point here, 40-30. Ooh, she sprayed that one, and we've got juice. So we are at a situation where Iga is 2 points away. What I do now, as well, is I don't look backstage. I think, Eddie, you're in a fortunate position. You cannot see backstage, but I can. So the reason why is because Damien's stream is about 27 weeks ahead of anyone else's. So he hovers backstage because he's got the men's French Open final result already in his back pocket. He's that far ahead. But no, seriously. So you see him hover backstage on match point, and you're like, oh, okay. And even if it doesn't win the point, you're already thinking. So anyway, I now cannot see backstage in case he just suddenly appears with a Polish grin on his face. I don't know what a Polish grin is, but right, forehand there from Coco, summing up the match.
A Polish grin is just a skull. Wow, we've got match point here.
Yep. Okay, I'm going to talk us through this one. Victory belongs to the tenacious. It's going to take a lot of tenacity from Coco now to get back into this match. 3-5. Match point, Iga Swiatek. First serve is just clipped the net, I think. So it's going to be another first serve. I don't know if you paused your stream or not, because I think we seem to be a bit more in sync now than we did at the beginning of the match. But anyway,
yeah, I did try to.
Yeah, you might well have paused it to the point, because I heard you call that return from Iga a couple of points ago, and it was pretty much exactly when I saw it. Okay, first serve here, Coco Gauff. Down the tee. I think it's clipped the net again, so it's another first serve.
Yeah, another. Just for the drama.
Yeah. Here we go. Bouncing the ball. Polish people behind her. This one is also down the tee. 3 times down the tee now. Good depth on that ball there, but now it's on the forehand of Coco. I worried for her there. I'm going to worry for her again on another forehand. She's getting decent depth here. She's going to go 3 forehands in a row.
Wow.
And the third one is a winner. Nice one, Coco.
See, I've been waiting for her to do that all match, like hit her an inside out forehand like that. But yeah, just coming now, late in the match, but we're late in this set. We don't know if it's going to be the end of the match yet, but
juice. I think Iga seems to be annoyed about some movement in the crowd. Yeah, sit the F down.
A flag?
Oh, maybe it was a flag. Was it okay? Anyway, juice. Coco's serving here. 3-5. Clips the net again. Goes down the tee again. It's an unreturnable. She's loving that tee serve one way or another.
Well, yeah.
Some first serves coming in here at good moments as well. 192 kilometers an hour. So game point, Coco Gauff to make her opponent Iga Swiatek serve it out, potentially. Down the tee again, but the time it's a fault. So second serve. 190 that one was. Don't double fault. Backhand return. It's too good from Iga Swiatek. And we're back to juice.
Very, very nice.
Yeah. Didn't need to have a phenomenal amount of power, that one. It's just all about the position. As we head towards 8 minutes here. Coco Gauff's team still cheering her on. Nice applause there from Brad Gilbert et al. Juice. Backhand return. Backhand from Coco. Is that a winner? It is. Lovely. Yeah. I thought that was sailing into the net, but it was so flat, so low. It skidded off that surface.
She's
Game
hit
point.
loads of them like that. I mean, that's
She's
really
hit a
difficult
few,
shot.
That
Yeah.
was super difficult. You're not pulling off shots like that, Eddie, on the clay?
No. Not
To the
quite
net on
like
the
that.
first serve. Second serve. Down the tee, forehand return, forehand from Coco. Remember, game point here for Coco to make it 4-5. Lovely forehand down the line there from her. Now it's on the backhand. She could have come into the net there, chose not to. Now she's struggling for court position. I think it affected that forehand. She's got to go back another few centimeters there, or she goes into the net. But I think not going to the net was the right decision, but she's got to recover the court position a bit quicker. Would you like me to commentate on your match, Eddie, or would it annoy you if I'm sort of just criticizing your court position from the comfort of an armchair?
Might, like, if I was playing tennis.
Yeah, if I'm commentating on and I'm going, Eddie's court position there sucks.
I think it might annoy me a little bit, yeah.
Might annoy you, yeah, it might annoy you.
If you start giving me like tips like during the match, yeah.
Yeah, that would annoy you too. Yeah, I think it's a really interesting topic when you're a doubles partner. I tend not to say too much. Maybe just like if I can see it at an exchange, I'm thinking about something that happens sometimes. I'm like, you've got to get out of these. Like with one particular dynamic, I remember happening about a year ago, and I was like, you've got to get out of this exchange because it's exactly what she wants.
Here.
Forehand return here. We've got a match point. Oh, yes, of course we have. But Iga has erred, and we're back to deuce.
Second match point saved, and
yeah, she didn't have to do too much with that match point, though, to be fair. The previous one was a bit braver, but fifth deuce, 10 minutes this game. And you never know. You never know. Iga's not infallible on that serve. So I'm just saying you never know. Coco holds here, and Iga's got something to think about. Forehand return is out.
Wow.
A game point for Coco. The crowd won a third set. The crowd are on her side. I think they are post that like debate and obviously seeing her get very emotional rather than the booing is for you, umpire. Okay, Coco, where are you going with this serve? You are going down the tee, but it clips the net and goes long. So it's a second serve on game point. 11 minutes this game now. Forehand return. Forehand Coco. Decent. Now she's going to come into the net and attack this on the backhand side. She puts it away. She holds serve.
Yeah, that was a great forehand to set up that backhand, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And then she had the coolness to put it away for 4-5, or I should say 5-4. And Iga Swiatek is going to serve for a place in her fourth French Open final. She's never lost at this stage before. 3 semifinals, 3 victories. Last year at this stage, of course, she played Beatrice Haddad-Maia. It was a straight sets win, but it was a tough one. I think it went to a second set tiebreak that Haddad-Maia did what Haddad-Maia does and really made it difficult for Iga.
I should say that Lloyd Harris won today in Surbiton.
Oh, great.
I mean, I'm
neutral. But against Vukic, okay.
And now he's playing Zhukayev in the quarterfinals. So
you mean the semifinals?
What was it? Oh, is it? Oh, okay.
Tomorrow, I think semifinals. No?
Quarterfinals.
Oh, today's Thursday, isn't it? Yeah, of course it is. Yeah, sorry, I think today's Friday. Sorry. Yep, you're right. Yeah.
Zhukayev, another very tall player. So maybe a couple of tie breaks in that one.
Could be, yeah. Lloyd on the grass is better than Lloyd on the clay, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Good backhand there from Iga. It's not won the point yet, has it? Yes, it has.
If I remember rightly, Lloyd Harris maybe did he take a set off of Federer?
I mean, he beat Rafa.
Yeah,
beat Rafa in Washington.
At Wimbledon, though.
At Wimbledon, okay. Oh, maybe.
Yeah, Federer.
Yes, he did.
Oh, there
Damien,
you go.
Damien, come and join us. Come and join the party. I actually couldn't see you hovering backstage because I couldn't see you backstage because I'm not looking backstage now. From the match point moments onwards, I stopped looking backstage. So I've got my screen big and I cannot even see the comments, which I can now see because now you're here. I can have a quick look at some of the comments and stuff. Hi, Jake. Hi, Jim Arges. I've not seen you before, so please do hit the subscribe button. What are we at there? Is that 15 all? There was it 30 love.
And yes,
15
actually,
all, okay.
Lloyd played the French Open qualies, did not qualify. I saw my name earlier in the chat, and I don't know why, but it was there.
Oh, it was Nerland. It was Nerland.
No, it was actually 5 minutes ago or 9 minutes ago. Ashley was saying just my name and some emoji, but yeah.
Oh, she's heard there, Coco.
I don't know how to interpret it, but yeah.
Here comes the umpire. Get that camera on. You're going to put the camera on? No, they're not going to put it on.
It's out. Yeah, they're not going to. But the camera is only inadvertently. The camera is fun when you get Mute or Tsitsipas remonstrating with the umpire. Yeah, I haven't been looking at the chat the last sort of 5 or 10 minutes, pretty much through that last game, because I was worried that I would see Damien backstage and that would tell me who won the match point, if you like. And even if it didn't tell me,
no, I just joined when it was match point, sort of, and regardless of how it went.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the other thing. I thought that's possible, but it might. I don't like having something in my mind that's just not making me concentrate on the point or worry about the point or think about the point. Oh, that's
like the match is particularly close anyway.
No, I know. But if Coco breaks here, which is obviously looking very, very, very tricky right now, 40-15.
Third match point.
So many of those forehand returns today that she's just dumped into the net. So, Iga Swiatek here serving for her 4th French Open final, 5th Grand Slam final overall, I believe. Goes long on the first serve. She's never lost a Grand Slam final. That's pretty cool. She's never lost a French Open semi-final.
I've never lost a Grand Slam final either.
You've never lost a Grand Slam final either, Eddie. That's true. Good return.
Here we go.
Yeah, of course.
And then Gaston Gaudio came back. Beat me in 5 sets.
Oh,
20 days ago, actually. To the day, I think. To the day, 20 years ago.
Gauff hangs on.
40-30. Yes, sorry. Yeah, I now I see why you're answering, Ashley. Yeah, he did. And I think he won 1 match, maybe 2. In French Open qualies.
Definitely not 2. I think he beat Gea, right? And then he
won
lost
1.
to somebody.
Because I remember us talking about it, saying, "Oh, it's a good day for the fans of the show."
He beat Artur Gea, but he then lost to someone. Oh, Mattia Bellucci. And in the second set, he had 6 set points in the second set and lost in straights.
40-30 here. Okay. Long on the first serve. So match point number 4, because of course she's already had 2 on the Coco serve, and she had 40-15 minutes. Now 40-30. So second serve here.
Which way is she going to go?
She's going to go down the tee, I think, to that forehand, you would imagine. Yes, she does. Forehand return. Forehand from Iga's. Bit short. Oh, she can't punish it. Iga Swiatek into her 4th French Open final. She beats Coco Gauff 6-2, 6-4. There will be sort of some disappointment from Coco, both in her performance, but also that controversial moment, which I'll probably get Damien's thoughts on a little bit later. But first of all, Damien, tell us about Iga's performance today. I mean, I'm not sure if it was quite from the absolute elite level that Iga is capable of producing, but it was enough, wasn't it?
I think it was just middling, honestly. Yeah. It was perfectly okay, obviously, but there was this patch at the beginning of the second set when she suddenly can't put a backhand into the court. But yeah, I mean, it was just efficient, I guess. There definitely was like a lot of intent from Coco to dictate, especially in the first set. So that also kind of like takes the spotlight away from Swiatek in a way. She didn't really get a chance to like shine here. I don't know if she would have if she got. But yeah, certainly it's just more important to win rather than this was some performance that like in 10 years we're going to be mentioning as one of the best matches of her career. No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
She didn't have to play like that, yeah.
Yeah.
Eddie, Coco, some disappointment from her side, the line call I touched on, but also maybe you know, because Iga's level was a little bit lower, I think that there was certainly a third set there for her. I talked about some of those forehand returns. I mean, the forehand I feel is a bit too easy for. It's a bit late. It's going to get. It's almost falling into the lazy journalism category of where it's just easy for us to highlight it, but it's kind of difficult to avoid it once again, right?
I mean, yeah, she obviously was trying to go for a lot more in this match, and well, you say it's easy to go for. I mean, it's just the reality. I mean, she made so many winners on that backhand side. It's just, and then, but I mean, we're going to get the interview here now. But yeah, but whenever she was going big on that forehand, it just wasn't working. And she probably needs to be in this kind of matchup if she's going to be aggressive. So
I'm going to come to you again in a second, Damien, just to see what she has to say.
I'm sure he was intense. In the second set, kind of tight because we were breaking each other. But I'm happy that I just, was consistent with my techniques and breaking stuff and just went for it at the end.
Ich bin echt draufgegangen. Es hat funktioniert.
Obviously, he's younger than you.
So Coco ist
A
noch
couple of
jünger
years ago,
als
the
du.
finals. A few words
Das gegen sie ja schon mal gespielt. Sag mal ein bisschen was über sie vielleicht, oder die
Well, I
Gegnerin.
think she's progressing a lot, you know.
Sie verbessert sich ja
We get to
ständig.
get the results.
Okay, she's progressing a lot, but obviously there's a bit of German translation. That's not always the case. But okay, Damien, for me again, it's quite similar. That the scoreline's different. It wasn't quite so much intrigue over the first set that we had in Rome, and also the match that they had in Paris a year ago. But for me, the match was quite similar in that I think she tried to just bring it to Iga as much as she could in the first set, hoping to hang with her, and then you never know. She just couldn't hang on as well as she did in Paris a year ago because she lost her serve in the first game and was always playing catch up from that moment onwards.
I don't know. I mean, she definitely approached the match completely different than Paris last year. It was just like kamikaze style aggression, which sure, I mean, it works for Alexandrova, it works for Ostapenko against Swiatek, but you gotta like be in your comfort zone if you're playing it, at least to an extent, you know, especially in slower conditions. So I think that was a bit misguided. I've seen a lot of contrasting takes on this on Twitter, but like to me, that's, you know, you cannot really expect to beat Swiatek like this if this is totally not your game. But yeah, there were still moments when she could have like still kept it closer. Obviously, there was this one ridiculously wild forehand on breakpoint down at 1-2. Then you kind of just expect Iga to steamroll because we know what sort of front runner she is. And I do think that Gauff had a lot more success in the second set, sort of, yeah, playing it more like Paris 2023 first set style, you know, just playing it more like focusing on her own strengths rather than Iga's weaknesses, trying to, again, like reset the points and actually sort of take over in her own manner, something that she's fine with. And it was a better attempt. It was still not particularly close, not from 1-3 down at least. But I do think that was a little better. But yeah, overall, I mean, there's just not much that she could have done today, really.
Yeah, right. The thing is, the head-to-head, it's just more and more grueling and more difficult for Coco fans to read because it is, you know, I think now it's 11-1, is it? Is it 11-1? Am I right in that? Or is it 12-1? 11-1. And those 11 wins have been all straight sets. I'm not sure how many tie breaks there have been, but I don't think there's been many in that 11. 11, so there'll be 22 sets going the way of Iga, and of course the one match that didn't go her way was the semi-final. I think it was in Cincinnati or quarterfinal last year. I'm not sure for which of those two it was, but that was super close and could have gone either way. But yeah, I do think we're still not far away from the territory we were a couple of weeks ago when I think Aryna Sabalenka and Elena Rybakina on their day, in the right circumstances, even on clay, as we've seen in Madrid and in Stuttgart, they can beat Iga Swiatek. I just don't see that with Coco Gauff, and that's where we're at. Now, Coco is world number 2, and she's justifiably there for an incredible level of consistency from post-Wimbledon onwards, and that's how the calendar is. But do you want to be in a situation where you're making the semi-finals of every tournament? And to be honest with you, this tournament is par for me for Coco. I had her getting to the semi-finals. because I looked at her draw and I couldn't really see her losing to anyone, including Onjabo in the previous round. Now, maybe I'm focusing a bit on the wrong thing here, but because she is world number 2 and Iga Swiatek is into her 4th French Open final, and she'll be the heavy favorite, won't she, in that final, Eddie?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean,
Whoever
regardless of who she plays. I mean, yeah, it's hard to say who would be a better matchup for her, but
I think she'd rather play Paolini. If I was a Coco
Yeah.
fan, I'd probably be thinking Paolini because there's just it's a bit more predictable, maybe.
yeah. On the other hand, you could just see maybe Andreeva just sort of, although she doesn't necessarily seem like the type. She's only 17, but she might, obviously being in the first slam, she might get overwhelmed a little bit. But first slam final. But yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, well, maybe there's a little bit more unpredictability with Andreeva in the final. So, and obviously, it's a nice story as well. But yeah.
What do you think, Damien?
What was the question again? Because I kind of got lost.
Which of the 2 players do you think might cause Iga a few more troubles?
It was
Paolini.
Iga. Okay, yeah, because Eddie started talking about Gauff, and I was like, okay, Gauff is out of the.
Oh, in the chat, yeah.
But never mind. Basically, I think Iga would kind of relish this opportunity against either player. Muchova last year was also a first-time slam finalist, obviously, but Muchova had deep runs at all the slams. Basically, that's how she made her name, by performing well at these events. For Andreeva and Paolini, this is way more out of the blue, even if at some point we were just expecting that Mirra would do it. Probably not now, though. And I think that either will probably be pretty tired. But yeah, I do definitely subscribe to that opinion that Paolini is just a bit more predictable. There's not going to be that much coming with her racket. She packs a good punch. She moves well. She definitely can counter. She can attack, but there's not that much that will surprise you there. So maybe Andreeva is tougher, but I generally don't seem to think that either player will be tough at all. Ashley Iga has not played Andreeva, but as John is showing you on the screen right now, she has played Paolini. I honestly don't remember when these matches happened, but that was not that recently, right?
2022, 2018 in Prague, 2018, and the first round of the US Open in 2022, which in many ways feels a while ago as well. I mean, the first round.
That was 2022 was already the Swiatek of today. 2022 was not the Jasmine Paolini of today. But yeah, not in either case. I'm just not expecting a close final at all. If I'm surprised, if the match is competitive, I'm only going to be happy about it. But yeah, I think we lost the chance to have a competitive final when both Rybakina and Sabalenka went out. And when Swiatek didn't lose today, I suppose.
Yeah, or even something happens today. Damien, that point, I'm still very confused by it. I've got the TV down. I'm probably talking to Eddie about going out for a drink with Lloyd Harris. But why was that ball not? Basically, I think there's a serve from Iga, which I think lands out, and Coco puts her racket on it. But I don't understand why it wasn't called out. It was a serve. Do you know the point I'm talking about?
It was corrected. The call was corrected to in.
Okay, so it was called out. Yes. Okay. So it's called out.
So as usual, the dilemma is whether the correction, not whether the correction, but whether the call came before Coco hit her shot. On Twitter, I've seen a lot of people saying that definitely the call came first. I don't know what these people are watching. I rewinded it, and to me it's nuts. To me it's definitely after she hits that. But obviously I'm not blaming either Coco or Litourd in this case, really, because these calls are usually some of the toughest. Just in real time, it's so hard to tell what came first. To me, the call was okay. Seems like the majority thinks that it was actually wrong. But yeah, unless we get video review with these calls, we will really never know.
Yeah. Obviously, she got a bit emotional at that point, but in fact, that game, she
took the
hands
game.
up.
So in the end, I don't think we can really.
No, did she break that?
Yeah, she broke. She ended up breaking.
She broke in that game. So in the end, we're not really gonna.
She couldn't hold on to this. She just immediately got broken
Well,
back.
it's not the chair umpire, Ghosty. It's the line umpire who called out, but the call was corrected. So
yeah, indeed, yeah. All right, well, I think we're done there. Unless you've got any final comments to make, Eddie.
No, well, I'm just I'm looking forward to see who gets through, and I'm not expecting too much in the final, but well, hopefully, maybe as I say, like Andrea was maybe a little bit more unpredictable. Maybe she can surprise us. You know, tennis sometimes gives us surprises. So
yeah, but I did think that day when Iga beat Naomi Osaka, and I think there was 1 point, or was it 2 match points that Osaka had? She was certainly served. Just the one, was it? Okay. But she was so close to the finish line. I think she may have also had love 30 on the Iga serve at 2-5. I'm not sure, but I think that was the case. There were so many moments when she was that close to going over the finish line. And I thought, well, that might be as close as Iga gets to going out, even in terms of sets, because I don't think she dropped a set since then. And, well, she's not lost that many games either. So she'll be in pretty good nick when it comes to physical stuff for tomorrow. For Saturday when the final, of course, happens. And, of course, make sure you stay with us. Give Eddie a follow. Do it on Twitter, but maybe not Instagram, at Tennis Asia TV, is it, Eddie?
Yeah. YouTube as well, Tennis Asia TV. Yeah.
YouTube as well. I mean, you can find him on Instagram. You just have to wait because, like everyone else, he's in the sin bin at the moment. And he's got to sit out a ban because he had the temerity of showing a nice little bit of video that was taken from inside the stadium by a friend, not anyone else, but the Instagram and the powers that be have decided to stop him from spreading the tennis word for a couple of days at least. But make sure you give him a follow at Damien Kust as well on Twitter for whatever tennis content you want. And to everybody else, we'll see you in a few minutes for the second women's semi-final, which will be me and maybe some company, but definitely me, for Mida Andreeva against Jasmine Paolini. And it's been great to talk tennis with you guys once again after a enforced suspension. We're back, and I'll speak to you again soon.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.